Hello, everyone. Welcome to Electric Moon. Welcome to the Artist to Artist show. On this show, we kind of have artists on, we have songwriters, we have painters, and actors, and all kinds of different people, and we talk about, kind of the creative process, our muse, what inspires us the most. So it's a really thrilling show. We've been doing for this about a couple months now, and it's a very wonderful honor to have this young lady on. She is an actor, she's a musician, she's an artist, she's a model. She does so much. I'm a huge fan of Taylor's. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program, Taylor Meskimen.
Hello.
How are you,
Hi,
Taylor?
everybody. I'm doing very good. It's a wonderful Thursday night.
It is. Are you keeping cool?
I am, yes. I am luckily I'm at my parents' house at the moment and they have great AC, so
Wonderful central air. It's brilliant.
a great invention.
And I see some wonderful paintings
Yes.
behind. That kind of works with the theme. Tell us what's going on behind you there.
I know it's funny as I was like setting up my spot because I wasn't able to do it at my house tonight, which I would have loved to because my house is definitely a very artistic environment that
Mm,
I love to show because it's cool. But
yeah,
these are actually my dad is a
fantastic.
painter, and these are some of his paintings, abstract
Ooh,
paintings,
love it.
and we have they have an art studio here, so that's where I'm set up. I figured it was the appropriate place to be for this interview.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Now we know for a fact that your dad's great, fantastic skills. Jim Meskimen, tell us about what he did at the Center Review recently. Tell us about that.
Yes. So I've been lucky enough and honored to perform at your event, the Sunday Night Review, for a few months now, which is like such a dream.
Mm,
And this last one was the Rolling Stones show, which was great. And I know you had needed a live painter for it. So I asked my dad, he's a trained painter, and he did this great painting of the Stones guys. And I thought people really responded so well to it. They were like coming up and watching him do it.
yeah,
And I mean, it's really, I think, a great addition that you added that to the night too, because it's just like this thing where people can walk over and see
yeah.
it's art. You're
In
surrounded by
process.
art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we both know, when we paint, like music just ties into it. So when you're kind of you have what did Chase do? Wild Horses,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
remember just
So
being
good.
floored by his performance, but at the same time looking at Jim's painting, and the two just kind of were working the sonic sound from the stage to the painting, and it just the two go hand in hand, and it's just brilliant to watch it happen live and watch an artist create, and watch the strokes and, the time. I was just kind of watching him, observing, Jim take a step back and look, and then it's kind of like, you know, athletics or anything where you carefully plot your next move. So he kind of steps back, and I can see like, where's he going to put that brush next? What's the next color? What's the next brush
Yeah.
stroke? And it's just fascinating to watch. And it was quite an honor to have him there for sure.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's totally like I had that same moment with Wild Horses and watching the
Yeah.
painting as well, actually. And I'm sure that it's like the music is going to influence what's going to go down in the paint as
Yeah,
well, because
for sure.
you just are all inspiring each other, which honestly is like one of my. I think such a fan of everything that you do with Electric Moon and the Sunday Night Review,
Thank you.
creating such an artistic community. LA is so big and there's so many artists and
Yeah.
we're all alone. We're all
Yeah.
separated. And
Yeah.
it's fine because we have that energy to keep ourselves going, of course, but it gets tough sometimes. And
It
sometimes you
does.
don't you put out things and you don't hear things back, and
Yeah.
you're just putting things out and going and doing it and doing it and doing it, and we'll do it till the day we die no matter
Yeah.
what.
Right.
But it's
Right.
nice to have. I just know for me in these past few months, I mean, I think I used to have such a fear on music And I'm not like fully out of that. I wouldn't say 100%, but I've changed so much musically and just stage performance wise musically since last August when I did my first show with you. And
Wow.
that's because of the opportunity that you gave me. So I'm like
Wow.
so grateful.
Yeah, it's first of all, I'm deeply humbled to have the opportunity to do it, and that Hotel Cafe is just kind of, here's the keys, Arthur. Just do your thing and make the best of it. So it's, we have to thank them and for the opportunity. But I've seen
Definitely.
so many of you guys grow, and I'm right there along with you, of course. And it's, I've just seen some people in particular just blossom.
Yeah.
For instance, Art Santoro, I've been able to work with a couple times, and I know you know Art, the other Art.
Yeah.
And I know the first time he did it, he was kind of like, I don't really sing and play. I haven't done it in a long time. And I'm like, oh, you'll be great. And he was really timid the first time. And then the next time, he's like cracking jokes and smiling. And he used his falsetto, which I was so proud of. I'm like, keep that up, because on Radiohead in particular.
Yeah.
And he just blossomed as a human being, as an artist. And I'm just so grateful to be able to have the platform. And as the Electric Moon Foundation grows and we get a little bit more, more of a platform to do it from, it's exciting, and I want to do a lot more. I'll tell you a quick story. I came from Detroit, and that music scene was, we all supported one another. We went to each other's shows. We bought each other's records. We collaborated with each other. Sometimes we dated one another, and it was a big community of people just supporting one another. And then, I moved to Los Angeles, and I remember some mentors of mine, some very big bands from Michigan that, they kind of took me under their wing, and they said, Noof, it's tough. It's tough in Los Angeles. We've been there. We know what it's like. It's tough. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's gonna be all right. And I knew coming into it that it was gonna be tough, and I knew, what I was up against. And I remember going to my first show, and it was just at a small place. I think it was Room 5. I'm not sure if they're still around. But I remember finishing the show, no, starting the show, and for some reason I forgot my guitar cord, which was ridiculous of me because I'm very particular and try to stay on top of it. But for some reason I forgot the guitar cord, and the guy that went perform before me, he got off stage, and I said, "Well, I gotta, I gotta figure out how to get a guitar cord. Maybe he'll let me borrow it, right?"
Yeah.
I went up to him and I said, "Hey, great show. It was really wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I forgot my guitar cord. Can I borrow yours?" And he literally goes, "Nope, I gotta go." And
So
every
welcome.
every trial that you go through in life, I wouldn't take any of it back, because it informs who you can become as a human being, as an
Yeah.
artist. So I'm glad he did that, because it basically nailed the hammer onto the head of the nail, where it's like, change this, fix this. If you don't see a door that's open for you, then knock the door down. Or if you don't see a house that's built for you, build the
Mm.
house. So I think that's what we're doing with the Center Review, is like, you don't see a house, then build it
Right.
yourself. Or you see
Yeah.
a door that is blocking you, knock that door down. So I said to myself, I can just give me a chance, and I'll change that and fix that, and we'll build a community. So long story short, I think, you know it's not just me, it's all of us as a collective, working with each other and supporting one another, that we are changing that now, and we're creating, getting rid of the cheesy LA stigma,
Yeah.
that I've always tried to stay away from. And I'm from Detroit, man. But we're hardworking and humble, and got the roots. So to be able to, do our review from a stage like Hotel Cafe, where the world is looking, watching, is a tremendous honor. And I just hope that, we have a chance to change some things and make people feel good, and so that they develop as artists, and they gain the confidence, like, yeah, I can get up there, I can do this, and look at so and so smiling right now while I'm performing, and
Mhm.
cheering for me, and and somebody just adjusted my mic stand because it was slipping a bit,
Right.
and somebody there were collaborating with each other. So anyway, I'm just real honored, and I remember seeing you, on the Instagram. I think I met you through Sean
Yeah.
Fleming, and
I came to
and
the Beatles
yeah,
night.
at Lost Property.
Yeah.
Yeah, way before. And I remember meeting you, and we chatted. And I think you said something like, Arthur, I'd like to be a part of it. I'm like, oh yeah, we're always looking for artists. And
Yeah.
I remember I'm like, I'd like to get Taylor on it, and I kept messaging you, and you kept turning me down,
I
or
know.
you were busy, and
No, it wasn't even that. It was actually that I was too shy. Like
uh,
I hadn't performed music enough publicly.
mm,
I was kind of like I'd been starting to force myself, but like I was only doing it in like the most safe environments that
I
I
see.
knew. And
Yeah,
then um and then I over the pandemic actually
yeah,
I mean, I feel like a lot of artists went through something during the pandemic
yeah,
in that I know for me, it's like, okay, the world shut down.
yeah.
You're like, okay, first, we all thought it was going to be a month at first, too. So
Right.
we're like, okay, fine, stay home for a month, like chill, do all those things that we
Yeah.
never got to do. And a friend of mine, Travis Warner, who I played the Radiohead show,
Travis. Yeah,
Frith, yeah,
yeah.
he had a piano course that he had created online. And so I got the course and I started doing it over the pandemic. And I
Right.
just learned like chords. Like I learned how to do the chords.
Yeah.
And then I just like it. Oh, I also just realized like, I'm like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
what am I so afraid of? I don't know. But I think something got removed, like some barrier that I'd put
Right.
there that I was holding myself back because I cared what people thought of me. And then it's like, oh, the world is ending. Who cares?
We might as well
Let's
do it
just make
now.
art
Yeah.
and share it because that's the only thing that matters right now is like sharing art and doing things that's going to uplift one another. And I just really had something left my universe that
Right.
had been holding me down. And
Right.
then when you approached me about the Bob Dylan show,
Yeah.
it was like, I mean, first of all, I'm like a huge Bob Dylan fan.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Likewise.
yeah, he's incredible, just
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best. And I was like, okay, I'm actually ready for this now.
I
I
kept at
wasn't
it.
before. And I'm so glad you did.
Yeah. It's, I meet certain people, and I'm just like, I think they can grow on this. I'm gonna keep asking them, and it took a couple of tries with you, and you just kind of explained why, and then you never left, which is beautiful, and you know I'm a huge fan of yours.
Oh, thank you.
I see your photography. I think I've seen some paintings, and I've seen your musical talent and the, what you bring as far as interpretation. Because I think there's an art to that. There's an art to interpretation,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a skill to that where, if you take a song like "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and you play it on piano, or you
Yeah.
play it with a ukulele, or
Yeah.
you play it with a trumpet in between the verse, whatever. And I've watched you just be very, very creative with that. And, you know, I find that to be an art. I mean, you saw my band, we do a lot of covers, and
Yeah.
I think we try to infuse, kind of present it like it's our own, or it's our own little twist. And I think there's an art to that. And I think you have that down.
Yeah.
Everything that you've done. There was one where you played, gosh, it was a synthesizer with the colored buttons, and you played
Oh,
with your
yeah.
friend.
That was Motown. Yeah.
That was Motown, and I'm like, man, this girl, man, I'm such a fan, you know.
That was fun.
And I don't mean that because you're on the show. I'm just a huge fan of your spirit, and I'm so grateful for your support and your family's support of what we're doing, and it means a lot to me. But Yeah, I'm so glad you're a part of the show, and it's a huge thing for, and you bring a bright light to so many, Taylor. So I just want you to know
So
that.
I
So
appreciate it. And obviously we're definitely like, I mean, I know I am, and also I know my parents are. We're definitely such a fan of yours also. So it's mutual.
I'm honored. I'm incredibly humbled. I'm just grateful that people pay attention once in a while. Um, I had a quick question for you. Well, we got lots
Yeah.
of questions. I want to get that out of the way. So tell me about. I know you do a lot of acting, and I know you do voiceover work. Talk to us a little bit about more some of your voiceover work. I think you've done like 80 audiobooks. That's remarkable.
Yeah, so I got into voiceover about 9 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
My dad is my parents are both actors. My mom has an amazing acting school called the Acting Center, and I've studied there since I was a teenager.
Wow.
And it's a really incredible school. The website is theactingcenterla.com,
Great.
and it's just a place. It's I can't wait till it opens up more, because
Yeah.
I feel like also you would really love it. And you could, I feel like the Electric Moon Foundation and the Acting
We
Center,
talked about that. Yeah.
yes, because you
Yeah.
guys have it, there's a purpose there really to help artists and get good products. And anyways, that will
Well,
be
maybe,
great.
yeah, we're looking to do within the next year, Electric Moon, brick and mortar. So maybe
Ah,
maybe I should talk to your mom, Tamara, about maybe partnering on the property.
oh my God.
Half
Yeah,
and
that would be
half.
interesting. Yeah,
That
they have
actually
a,
we'll
they,
remember, but please continue.
yeah. So, okay. So, and then also my dad is an actor. My grandmother's an actor. Like my family has been in the business. So I definitely have grown up around that
Yep.
and just around the arts in general. I would say primarily it's in the film industry. Um, but I always, so that's how I got into, I saw my dad doing a lot of voiceover stuff, and I was like, oh, like that looks like fun. And like,
Yeah.
I could do that, I think. And I think I had this idea at the beginning that I would just like be a natural at it and like
You are
fall
though.
into it.
Yeah.
Yes, but I also had, I mean, when I first started doing audiobooks, this publisher gave me an opportunity to audition, and then he was like, "Okay, like keep
Yeah.
practicing and come back and see me and like listen to some audiobooks and then practice and come back and see me." And I went back to him a couple times until he finally was like, "Okay, you can do this book. You're hired." So
Great.
I was like, I kind of had that moment of like realizing like, oh, this isn't just like fall into it. Like I actually have to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but I ended up loving it. And now I mean, I literally am doing this week, which is not a normal week, but I'm doing like 4 audiobooks this
Wow.
in one week, which is like
Wow.
kind of bonkers. But I love it. And it's like I get to read stories for a living, and it also helps me because I am voicing many different characters and
Yeah.
acting. So I like to create my life and only do things that all flow towards what my purpose is.
Great.
And if it's something that's like, if I'm going this way and it's something like, oh, let's do this job, like let's
Yeah.
sell clothes at a store or something. I mean, I have done jobs like that.
Design the clothes. Put them on the rack. Sell them.
Yeah, I'm like, it has to all be going down my path. And I've been very fortunate to, in the past few years, have like wrangled all these things. So I'm able to spend time doing things that I love doing and survive that way and continue it to grow. And
Yeah.
I think it also falls in line with like voiceover, then it's connected to acting, then it's connected to music. And like I just actually did, I don't know if this is, did you ever hear the book The Rainbow Fish?
I have not, but I love the title.
When I was a kid, that book was like, it was like the book. Like, I don't know what the most popular kids book is now, but
The
it was
Giving
like,
Tree was one
oh,
of my favorites.
which one?
The Giving Tree, Shell.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
a great one.
yeah,
That's a great one. So it's like kind of like one of those where I felt
yeah,
like it was almost like a cult classic. Like
yeah.
all the kids read this one. And I actually just did the audiobook for it this
Wow.
week. And it was like a very small, like scholastic, like children's project. Not like some high
Wow.
paying thing, but I had such a purpose for it because I was like, oh,
Wow.
I love that book when I was a kid.
Wow.
And I got to sing 3 songs as part of the audiobook.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, this is so great. I'm like getting to tie in all the things
Yeah.
that I love to do.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And that's, wow, to be able to kind of narrate something that is so meaningful to you. That's kind of like, Bob Dylan reaching out and say, "Hey, will you write me a song?"
Oh my
Like,
God. Yeah.
what? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, so that is really, it's called the Rainbow Fish.
Yeah, the rainbow fish. Yeah. It's basically about this beautiful fish who has like all these rainbow scales and then he ends up giving them away because the like he shares his beauty with everybody. So it's got like a really sweet message, you know?
And that's kind of like the Giving Tree.
Yeah, it
In such
is.
a way, they probably, I don't know what year the Rainbow Fish came out, but
I think it was like 91 or something.
pretty sure the Giving Tree probably had quite an influence
Probably.
on that. But yeah, that's amazing, Taylor. I can't wait till that comes out.
Me too. I'm excited.
That's incredible. Tell me a little bit about, tell us about, you paint as well?
I do. I painted a lot when I was a teenager. I got very into doing collages and I had a couple shows and because my parents are also artists too. My dad is we talked about that. So we've done some like family art shows
Great.
before and I've been a part of some other like group shows. I haven't painted much in the past couple of years. It's funny too because like I actually also spent the first part of my life doing being a dancer. I until I was
Uh,
18, that was sort of like the path that I was originally going on. I always wanted to do acting, but
what kind of dance,
I
Taylor?
I did everything. I did
Wow.
ballet, tap,
Wow.
jazz, modern, hip hop. Like I was part of a
Wow.
company, so I was dancing like 30 hours a week
Ooh.
and doing competitions and traveling and for shows and it was like a full-time extracurricular
Yeah.
activity that I was a part of. And then there was a certain point when I was like 17, I think, where I went to this camp with like, some of the top dancers.
Mm.
And I don't know, I just kind of realized that I love dancing. I mean, I love physicality. Even when I do voiceover stuff,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a lot of physicality and I love dancing, but it's such a competitive and specific world.
And tough on your body. I mean, it's hard work.
Yes. And it's got kind of like, it's sort of like, I'm like trying to describe it, like, because obviously, like music and like people have to be very disciplined and practice
Yeah.
and that's a similarity with dance, but there's like this like strictness.
Athletical. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, and also it's true that like, to be honest, like I saw that because of the training that I'd had, I was like, oh, I'm never going to be good enough
Mm.
at this. Like I'm a good dancer,
Yeah.
but this is like a level of competence that because I didn't start with the right school when I was 2,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's like 3-year-olds that I've seen doing like the
Yeah.
craziest and you're like, wow, okay. So I kind of realized at that moment, I'm like, yeah, this isn't like my career path
Yeah.
and I'm going to pursue the acting.
But I definitely see your dance background inform you on stage because you have a way of carrying yourself and delivering that I can see that influence from your dance to a musical stage,
Mm.
because I think everything that we do, I mean, myself as an artist, everything, I can look at a red vase right now and it's going to inform a color that I paint with, or
Yeah.
I can look at this killer's lightning bolt here that we use as a stage prop that can influence something. And that's the beauty of that, because I think even with, for instance, Miles Davis, he was a boxer.
Yeah.
He took boxing classes and it informed his playing, the quick, that's like jabs in
Oh my
boxing.
God,
So,
totally.
yeah. And so it kind of, I mean, I think if we're true conduits to the, not to sound cheesy or generic, but to the universe, and we feel those things and we let, um, a cactus flower inform what we do as artists. I think if we're just tuning into it and paying attention to it, it can inform everything, and that's a perfect
Yeah.
example with your dance background. I see it when you perform. I
Yeah.
see elegance, grace, strength, and poise, and all of that. So your dance is still with you. You
Yeah.
may not
Yeah.
have gone down that path, because I'm not a dancer, but I've dated some dancers, and I know that it's very intense work, physicality
Yeah.
wise and mentally,
Yeah.
and all the pressure of, like, you got to keep your weight down, and then you have a couple crackers for breakfast, and then you have to dance for her. That's hard disciplined
Yeah.
work. So
Yeah, I know it's I think with anything that there's a lot of attention put on the body,
yeah,
and the body is so important because I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm like,
yeah,
the body is great. The body lets us do a lot of cool stuff. I love this body, but it's not the most important thing.
yeah.
We are more important, and our ability to create and produce things is highly superior to just this
Yeah,
thing.
and as a matter of fact, I have a very dear friend. She's a little bit old enough. I'm not naming any names, but she actually had a hip replacement from her years of travel and dance,
Oh,
and
wow. Yeah.
her partner has had knee problems, and so it's brutal on the body. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it's
I get hip stuff. I like when it rains and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
yeah,
So I do I still exercise and stuff because I find
have
that
to,
helps. But
yeah, yeah. So,
yeah.
but it's an art form that I have a tremendous amount of respect for.
Yeah,
With
totally. Same.
ballet, and so, and yeah, have you seen Ozark?
I have, but I'm so behind. I need to
It's
watch
all
the
right.
latest
I
season.
don't want to get off track because I want to have you
Oh,
perform in
oh
a
yeah.
second. But when you talked about being a natural, I was kind of thinking while you're talking about who's a natural actor and the difference. Ruth, I think we
I love
texted
her.
back and forth about Ruth. She is a genius,
She's
right?
amazing. She's
So,
so cool.
yeah, I look at her and then I look at what's Jason Bateman's daughter in that. And I look at
Oh
her,
yeah.
and Ruth is like heads and tails above. Now she's good,
Yeah.
and her role isn't as intense, but you can
Yeah.
see how Ruth is on a different level of acting natural. And I've seen your work, and in particular that one with the metaverse or whatever. I was like, dang, Taylor, you're
Which one is
rocking
that?
this right now.
Wait, which one?
It was, you posted about 2, 3 months ago, and I can't remember the
Oh,
specific.
is it? Oh, are you talking about the video, the where I was the Oculus machine?
I think so, and it was
Like
so good.
oh, that
You
was
were
so
you
fun.
had an evil quality to you.
Yeah, that was really fun.
But see, those are the dimensions of the acting. And I'm not an actor, but I'm an artist,
Yeah.
and I can see how some people like Jim Carrey, that guy goes way above, farther than the script that was written for him.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna take it somewhere magical in that moment,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of performers as well, or you know David Bowie in the moment, or Pearl Jam, and in the moment, and creating something special. And
Yeah.
I think that's a gift that you also have, though.
Oh, thank you. Well, I've studied back to my mom's acting school, but I've studied for years also since I was a kid. Actually, I started taking improv classes when I was
Right.
like 9, 10 years old. And improv is something that I feel like I could talk about forever.
Yeah.
And I think that everyone in this world should take an improv class because
Interesting.
it's like therapeutic
Mhm.
to. I was even just thinking about it the other day because I'm missing improv a lot. Like I was like, man, I wish those classes were
Yeah.
up right now. Like there's something about that instant creation, and I'm sure that you've experienced that even with music, maybe like songwriting. I don't know your writing process, but to be able to like that's what we do as artists, right? We have nothing and then we create something
Yeah.
from nothing, which is like that's why artists are literally the most valuable, incredible
Yeah.
beings on earth. And in improv, it's sort of like you work that ability on like a short-term basis
In the
where
moment.
you like
Yeah.
get out of your head. And like I know for me, I really realized that when I get into thinking about things a lot, it doesn't necessarily help me. Like sometimes we got to think about things, but like when it comes to art, we know and we can like that there's something about that instant creation that's very
Yeah.
freeing. And maybe you're not going to get exactly what you want the first flow, but you have to have a flow and you
Yeah.
have to create that flow. You can't be stopping yourself or
Right.
criticizing yourself or
Right.
which it's like tricky, but improv is,
Yeah.
I definitely owe a lot of that helpfulness to improv.
Yeah. And I think I would imagine that it exercises the muscle. Just like any other muscle, if you want it
Yeah.
to be strong, you gotta exercise it. Who said it? Was it Picasso? I think he said you know, inspiration will find you, but it must find you working. You know, and I had
Ah,
this conversation during the stay at home period. I was writing for my band at the time, and you know, could be a full time artist, and I was putting together Electric Moon and all that stuff. And I would just like Nick Cave, for instance, he basically puts on his little black jacket. I don't know if you're a fan of his. He goes to the office and he writes, just like
mm,
an accountant or anybody else that goes to work. And I'm like, that's good because you know, I tried that. I'm like, I'm just gonna go lock myself in the bathroom and I'm just gonna have the guitar or a piano and I'm just gonna
yeah.
see what comes out. And it may not always come out. Maybe you'll just get one line. Maybe you'll
Mm,
get the bulk of a chorus. Maybe
mm,
you'll get something. And I have a 2 hour period where I'm hot and then it's like I'm just dialing it in and I gotta stop. It's like
yeah.
I get 2 hours and then that's it. But what I'm getting at is that you just keep working at it. You keep working at it and just keep doing it and it gets I don't know if your songwriting ever gets easier, but I think it does because I think you're working the muscle. You're working that
Yeah.
creative muscle. So I would think improv is like a huge, beautiful exercise for
Yeah,
that.
that's a really great idea. I'm going to try doing that, what you just said about like just blocking out
It can be rough.
time.
Some days you really, you know, I can be really tough on myself as an artist, and we all can be. You know, we all want to, I think, you know, produce something that, you know, that you're happy with and that we can help others with. That's the
Yeah.
idea. So some days you're like, man, it's not coming today. It's
Yeah. You're going to sit
not
there
getting
and
it. You
20
might
minutes.
just get online, or you might just get a huge brainstorm, and it just flows out of you, and you get a lot out of it. Um, but that's part of work, and I think you know if you look at it as well, I'm doing the work. I'm doing. You know, I remember watching an interview with David Bowie, and the interviewer was like, you know, David, these kids love you. You're like a messiah. And he's like, no, I'm not. And he's like, well, but you're producing a lot. And he's like, that's work.
Hmm.
You know, because he was saying, that's my work. That's my
Yeah.
work. And I think if it's just like practicing piano for 15 minutes a day and just
Yeah.
forcing yourself to do that, it may not come right away, but after 2 months, those 15 minutes are going to add up.
Yeah.
So, but try that because I can't wait for you to record.
I know. I started working on getting some songs done. And honestly, I've just been swamped with the
Yeah.
audiobook work that I've had. So it's all a balance, you know, fitting all these things in
Yeah.
that we need to do and that we love to do. But I'm working with Travis Frith on
Great.
we've started on one song, which this will be my first time actually like, well, my first song that I had two songs on MySpace.
Okay. Oh, wow. I booked a whole tour on MySpace.
Did you? That's so great. I'm
Yeah.
like, I miss MySpace. I tried to look it up. I think maybe the song is still on there, but the website is so slow that
Man. I don't want to go back to MySpace. I don't know. I don't know who that guy was anymore.
Tom.
It's it's weird. I don't know how you feel about this, but I think being as an artist, we go through periods and we change and we grow, and I think with each project, I kind of when that project is done, I kind of leave that person of Brent or Arthur.
Sure.
And I think it's different for artists because I've talked to people that aren't artists and like I'm still the same person. And
Mhm.
I try to morph and change and grow and be a different set of artwork through there's those periods in my life. And I literally look back, Taylor, and I'm like, man, man, I know that 18-year-old kid is in there, but I wish I could tell him I love you and it's gonna be okay, but I don't really know who that kid is
Yeah.
anymore. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I still love him dearly, and I'm glad he made it through. But
Yeah.
I can't connect. I've just,
Yeah, because there's so much change that's happened.
artistically and
Yeah,
musically, it's
that's
there's
great.
periods. Do you find that about as you go along in life?
I think it's funny, like, because I mean, I think I spend my life trying to change in be better in general,
Yeah.
always wanting, always had my thoughts on that as a younger person too, is like, how can I be better? How can I
Yeah.
understand life more? How can I learn how to do more things and whatever? So
Yeah.
I definitely, when I look at myself as a teenager, I'm like, oh, that was a totally different person. But I also do remember I remember what it was like. I do remember what it was like. And I know my thoughts and the way that I looked at the world and the way I did things was just so different. And I do
Yeah.
think musically, especially just in the past like 2 years, I think like I looked back at some old videos. Like I started getting more, I always turned to music when
Yeah.
there was some sort of like emotional thing happening in my life. Like the first song that I ever wrote, ever, when I like really knew nothing about music, was because a friend of mine, when I was a teenager, passed away randomly and I didn't
Can address
know
it.
what to do. I was
Yeah.
like, I literally, for some reason, that was the first thing that I thought of, to like, how can I be cause over this situation that's so devastating
Mm.
and devastating for his family and everything. And I just wrote this song about him and like shared it with his family, and they were really happy. And
Wow.
our other like friends in our friend group, just to like have something, but it's like like taking a situation that's horrible but like adding art to it makes
Yeah.
it a little bit better.
Yeah.
And
I've seen art as I think you can have two types of pain. You can have pain that, you know, works against you or works for you. And I think in songwriting, I think in some ways, I think we're mechanics. We're trying to change the tire on our car, and at the same time, we hope that we fix somebody else's car.
oh yeah, I love
You
that.
know, and
Yeah,
sometimes we get real lucky, and that song touches someone, or that show touches someone. And to
yeah,
me, that's that's the beauty of art, and that's the heartbeat behind Electric Moon Foundation. And I think everything behind everything that you do is just trying to take these gifts that we have. If people enjoy it, great. Then
yeah,
we can help make somebody's path not so rough. And it comes with a responsibility, but for
yeah,
you to write a song about a friend that you lost and then comfort their family through that, and give yourself a hug through that process of getting it
Yeah.
out. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, it's totally because even just the process of making the song made me feel better. Like whether I understand exactly why, honoring him or just being able to communicate about it and in a way that like is like, okay, this is the situation. And, we all want understanding and we're all kind of searching for that, I feel like. And art helps with that because it's true. It's like then I listen to a song that I'm like, oh my God, like what they're saying, or even sometimes it's not even about the words, it's literally the melody or the rhythm of the song. Somehow, like music is on a whole other wavelength than any other art form, I feel like, where it communicates beyond words, which is crazy.
And
it's like magic.
And that's why we're so lucky to have these tools, and again, to be on the mission that we're on. I feel like we're on it together.
Yeah.
Is just it could bring me to tears
Yeah.
like instantly, just to have the opportunity to, because there's a lot of people that have just as big of hearts as we do.
Yeah.
And that may not have the opportunity that we may have. So to have the opportunity to do it is just incredible. And and in my own life, if you're having a rough day or it's a long day and it's like, man, I want to paint at like midnight tonight, and I put on those headphones and I'm literally just, it's like going for a hike or playing rock and roll with your friends or the Senate Review. Music has such a power over the mind and the heart that it can easily just level you off and like, okay, it's okay, I can tackle tomorrow, because I just got to listen to Nina Simone with headphones on and create something.
Totally.
So it's just such a gift, and it's such a gift to have it inside of us. So
I agree.
Speaking of that, this conversation is going quite well.
Oh my God. Okay.
So you want to rock and roll?
Yeah. So wow.
Speaking of sharing, I know.
Time is flying.
It's tough.
Okay. So
will you perform a song for us?
Yes. This is a very short song.
But it's a long walk.
It's a long walk.
It's a long walk for a very short song.
And thank you. I have
some stage techs over there.
Yeah, my team is helping me here.
Hey guys.
Here he is.
There he is.
This is Jim Meskimen here,
Hi, Jim.
Folks. Hey man.
Am I coming on the mic, Arthur?
I got you. Yeah.
Okay, good. And my dad actually also, just another little pitch. He just created a set of online courses for actors.
I've seen that.
So
trailer.
Oh yeah, good. So if anyone's interested, it's basically lessons on how to become a working actor, which I can vouch because
and sustain yourself.
Yeah, he's been my mentor, and I'm making my living as an actor as well. So it works. And it's jimworkingactor.com.
Yeah, we'll post that tomorrow. Remind me, we'll post that.
Great.
Tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, his delivery in that was fantastic. Just nailed it and well delivered. And I took my notes on how I can do those a little bit better too. So thanks, Jim, for that. And if you're an aspiring actor, you should definitely check out Jim's tutorial. What do we call it? Tutorial?
It's a whole course. It's like a master class. Like it's those master classes.
Yeah, and if I may add, I know we only have so much time.
I know we have to hear your song after.
Jim's
We're gonna
impersonations are incredible. Those are incredible. I particularly love the Tom Waits, but we could talk about that later. And the Bowie's pretty good too.
He's good. He is very good. Yeah. You should have him on the show.
I would love to. I've just been too shy to ask.
Oh my God.
Too nervous because he's I bow down to the guy. He's next level.
Okay, well, when you work up the courage, then.
All right, we'll see. I'll have a chat with myself, see if we can muster up some strength.
Okay, great.
Anyways,
okay, well, it looks like we're going to be ending this show with some music. Well, I'll do mine and then you do yours.
We may, yeah.
Okay, great. On my way out
take a ride in this car, searching for some kind of truth, a romance out of two. Other people's bodies wrap their arms around me. My time is growing thin. I need this to begin again.
That's all. So
I
it's
love
just the
it.
beginning of a song, but it's actually one that I had started writing for a friend who had a short film
Ah,
and called Other People's Bodies. And it's like this sci-fi thing. So I got inspired and started writing this song, and I kind of like it.
I
So
love it. Short is good. All the early Beatles songs are like 2 minutes long. It's insane.
true.
It reminds me of what is Her Majesty? Her Majesty's pretty nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say. Her Majesty's pretty nice girl, but she's changing day to day. I want to tell her that I love her a lot, but I gotta get a bed full of wine. Her Majesty's pretty nice girl. One day I'm gonna make her mine. Oh yeah, one day I'm gonna make her mine.
Yeah, yeah,
That's all
yeah.
you need.
Yeah.
That's all you
So
need.
so good. So good.
By the way, ask Jim if your father there, if he did he do Her Majesty the other night
Did he do it where?
at SoFi Stadium?
Oh, did Paul McCartney do it? No, he didn't do it.
He didn't do that one.
He didn't
Okay.
do that one.
So while you're walking back to the other quarters of the home,
Yeah.
tell us and I'll perform in just a second, but tell us
Okay.
some of your biggest musical influences. What bands and what songwriters have moved you the most?
Well, definitely I will say Bob Dylan as a writer.
Yeah.
Really, definitely. He's such a poet, and I think listening to him, I get it. I've been very inspired writing wise. Also, honestly, one of my best friends is a musician who played with me at the Motown show.
Yeah.
Her musical name is Skandra.
Okay.
And she was somebody who was already doing music when we started becoming friends. She'd been in bands for years, and she had already she played the Hotel Cafe. She played all over LA, and I would always go to her shows with her. I would sell her merch for her.
Great.
I would
merch girl.
Yes, I was like her number one
brilliant
fan.
merch girl.
Oh yeah, I sold stuff for her.
I bet.
For real. Because also I was such a fan, and she was my best friend. So I was like, no, but I legit like your music. And she's just a very talented writer, musician, and her and I actually had a music project together maybe that was even longer ago, 8 years ago or something, called Fox, Falks.
Oh yes, okay.
And she had written a series of songs that I ended up singing with her on, and we made 2 EPs. And so I definitely was very influenced by her, because she also kind of like was somebody who helped me come out of my shell as well as an artist.
Great.
And then as for Alice Bowman is fantastic. Okay. And I think that I really like her lo-fi stuff.
Chill.
I'm also just mostly into oldies. Like the other day I realized, I was like, wow, I really need to actually try to listen to new music, because I don't even hardly know what's going on, because everything I listened to wasn't made until like before 1980.
Wow. Wow.
Which is great for all the Sunday night review shows,
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we try to, keep the pulse on more modern stuff, and it's tough picking the artist because, Weezer and Green Day, they're great bands, but are they ready for like a big tribute kind of thing?
Right.
And, so we pick, Foo Fighters. I think they're worthy.
Foo Fighters is great.
Nirvana, Radiohead, Beck. We've done Beck.
Yeah.
But a lot of them is like McCartney and Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Wonder. I'm hoping to do very soon, and all these art
Wow.
prints. Where it's I think the younger generation should they should be on their radar for sure, especially as
Definitely.
songwriters. But it's tricky. Who else? Any other songwriters, singers?
Um, I'm sure, I mean, I don't know. I also think, it's like inspiring going to like the Sunday night review, and it's like we all inspire each other to
Hmm.
it's kind of inevitable. I get inspired by a lot of things. Like even if I'm like watching a TV show, like actually there was
Sure.
this one time I was watching a TV show and the character played a song, and then there was something in the song that hit me, and then I had to pause the show and I
Wow.
literally went out and wrote a whole song in
Wow.
like 2 minutes.
Wow.
And it's actually the song that I'm working on with Travis to produce. It
Great.
just like hit something. It's that thing though that we were talking about in the flow and the
Yeah.
writing. And it's like if you get that window, you have to just jump and take it because
Yeah.
it can just flow out of you like that. And
Yeah.
inspiration is everywhere. Like if
Yeah.
we're open to it, it's everywhere. I'm
Exactly.
getting inspired from trash on the ground, like,
Yeah.
you
Or the
know?
paintings behind you. I think
Yes.
we talked about that earlier. I think just paying attention, to and being a conduit and letting it. I'm sorry, I turned up the Robert Plant verb a little bit,
Yeah.
Chris Cornell verb, but yeah, I think if we're just paying attention and opening our hearts and our eyes and just being mindful of, even watching like Alan Rigoletto's guitar playing
Yeah.
or Ian's guitar playing, just
Yeah.
watching their hands and being a conduit to taking that inspiration and just
Yeah.
paying attention to that and going to see other artists and going to see other bands and going to museums and
Oh yeah.
it just informs everything, you know.
Completely.
So I think I'll do a song. You want to hear a song?
Yeah, let's do it.
So it's interesting you brought up the giving tree and the rainbow fish, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Remind me about that later because this song I wrote for my second record, Sir Orchid and the Magnificent, and it was written in Topanga Canyon when I was living up there in the canyon, and I wrote the record. It's off my second Arthur Autumn record, and this song I was trying to um, speak to kids, like really young kids, that if you're having a bad day, that you can kind of get through it, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be okay. I wrote it. I don't know. I was maybe in my 20s, but it was I was trying to write in a little bit more mature way, and I was trying to use characters on this record in kind of the way that Sergeant Pepper's was, not to compare it to that, of course, but I was trying to write in characters because I had written
Yeah.
a handful of records about myself, and I'm like, I'm gonna write more about characters, but indirectly, like Sir Orchid is still me, but
Right.
it's a little bit more abstract. And this song was written as if I was talking to a kid that we all have bad days and you can get through. And I actually want to do a children's book with it someday with illustrations based around this song. So
Amazing.
it's called Some Days You Just Don't Like, right? So I don't usually play it very often, so let's see. Some days you feel like you've been had by the man, and he's making you feel like you're 2 feet tall. Well, some days you just don't like. Some days you feel somewhat out of your skin, warm and your cheeks are bone, and it's making you feel like you changed the world. Those are the days that count. Those are the days that count. Those are the days that count. Someday you find a rock in your shoe. It's better than any shoe. So you take it down like it was meant to be. But some days you just don't like. And some days the doctor comes in with bad news. Baby, down now you got to lose. But hold on tight, a cure's coming soon. Those are the days that count. Those are the the days that count. Those are the days that count. And some days you feel like staying in your bed. You can't escape the monsters in your head. They're making you feel like it's been raining for days. But some days you just don't like. And some days you feel like you just can't fight. Fight for what you believe. You gotta raise your fists right in the air. Those are the days that count. You gotta raise your fists right in the air. 'Cause those are the days that count. Those are the days that count. Those are the days that count.
Ew, that's a great song. I love that.
Thank you. I think I've had too much coffee. The tempo was a little bit quicker than I wanted it to be. But it's a punk rock
Never
record.
enough coffee. Never enough. No, that was so cool. What a great song.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We'll hopefully to make it into a children's book at some point. But
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I think it ties in all right. If you could catch the words going that fast.
I could. Yes. No, they're great lyrics. I love it.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
Tell
you.
everybody about, we've got, what do we have coming up at Hotel Cafe?
I know, I've only shared a couple posts about it, but already my Instagram inbox is getting filled up with excitement about this
Beautiful.
one. So the Fleetwood Mac show, which is on June 12th, and we're gonna be doing, what's the album called?
Rumors album.
I'm very excited.
It's a huge record, and I love the sound of that record, and Dreams in particular, I think is one of the best songs ever written, and the sonic analog quality of that song is just like magnificent. So to try this new concept, I think it'd be fun and a little bit different. So we'll be doing that, and then we'll do a live painting again. That's going to be June 12th at Hotel Cafe. Thank you for coming out to the Rock and Roll Electric Moon Foundation.
Wouldn't have missed it. That was incredible. An incredible event. Incredible. It's so wonderful to see all the kids performing and having that opportunity. We're talking about opportunity. Like that's what you're doing with the Electric Moon Foundation. And these kids are so talented.
Yeah.
And then you put on, it was such a fun event. It was so fun. I hadn't been bowling in so long, which was great. That place is amazing.
Yeah, it's a great venue, and Rock and Roll Pizza, everybody in Simi Valley, if you get a chance to go out there, they have bowling, they have great bands. But I think the biggest thing is they're just good, humble people that love music.
Yeah.
And they're so welcoming, and that's rare to find around here. So
I saw you perform there with the Jet Lemons.
Yeah.
Doing the Killers night too, that was like a couple months prior, which was so amazing. I mean, you guys are very talented.
Thank you. And it was quite a thrill to do Runaway Horses with you.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did all right.
We did good. Yeah.
We can be tough. Like I'll watch this later and I'm like, man, you missed that chord, Brent, whatever. But I think we nailed Runaway Horses. I think we did that. I think we did all right.
I think we did great. Yeah. And then you guys played a full, like I was so impressed with your guys' energy, because it was a long set and you guys killed every song. Like it was very good and not easy songs to do, but you're very talented. You guys were all so talented. And also I do feel like, I think we were talking about this before, I forget if it was before the show or on the show, but making it covers, but making it your own. And I definitely feel like that's what you guys did, where it's like, oh, this is fully coming from you. Like you're not like, we know the songs, we know that it's the Killers, but it's not like, I don't know. That was my first time besides the Sunday Night Review seeing you perform. And I was just very impressed.
Wow. Well, thank you. I think it's just kind of, I'm not really into the caricature thing, but at the same time, we want to deliver the songs, but I think we want to just infuse our own energy into it and create something. And, like I said, to be able to do the whole thing at Rock and Roll Pizza with the foundation was just great, and
Yeah.
we're excited to inspire kids. We had a lot of kids come up to us or myself and say, "I want to play drums," or watching little Oz up there, like, how do I play bass?
Oh,
And I think that's our mission. And people can learn a little bit more about that at electricmoon.org under Electric Moon Foundation. And if you want to donate, you can. We're going to be putting on a summer camp at Alexandra House. We're going to need, the instructors, and we're going to need instruments. We're working with some vendors now and on some donations, but we're going to need all that stuff and art supplies, and have the kids record a song and have that for the rest of their lives, and then a big concert at the end. So, we need a lot of funding for that. So if anybody's listening and they want to help out, head on over to electricmoon.org. And we appreciate that very much. And it's
yeah.
been a
Make
real
sure you
honor.
make sure you give me, like, I'm sure we'll talk more, but you can give me that info too, so I can help you promote that, because I'm definitely want to support all that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we need a
Yeah.
lot of support, and I'd love to have you come down to Alexandria House and maybe talk with the kids about acting or
Sure.
whatever it is. I think anytime young people can inspire fellow young people that are many
Yeah.
years. And I think the biggest thing, I said it from the stage the other night, and I know we're right about 8 o'clock, but for me, music and art, I had to kind of find it the hard way. I had to find
Yeah.
it in, Black Flag and, um, Minor Threat and Fugazi and all these bands, and just go out and play on the streets of Detroit. And that can be a rough road. So I think with Electric Moon Foundation, we can make, speaking of pain and going through things, I had to work it out on the stage and just get in
Yeah.
the van and go play. But I think we can, with the foundation, we can make it a little bit easier for kids and let them know right away that they're loved and that
Yeah.
they're appreciated, and they can express themselves through music and art. And that's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. I think we need it now, and there's a lot of kids out there that are so gifted and so talented that don't have access to a trumpet or
Yeah.
a harmonica or a guitar. So we can kind of help facilitate that. So that's pretty exciting. And to have your support and your family's support means a lot to us. So thank you, Taylor.
Definitely. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you for doing what you do. And thanks for having me on the show.
Right on. You've been a fantastic guest. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. We'll be back next month with, I don't know who yet or what we'll be doing, but tonight it was a great honor to have Taylor Meskimen on. Again, guys, see her at the Center Review. Look her up. She's a fantastic person and a great artist, and it's been a great honor,
Thank
Taylor.
you.
Thank you for being
Thank you
here.
so much. Yeah, of course.
All right.
All
We'll
right.
sign
I'll
off.
see you later.
See you guys. Thanks for being here. Be good. Do nice things. See you next time. Bye, Taylor. See you.